J.R.R. Tolkien, Beyond Middle-earth's creator. The name J.R.R. Tolkien immediately conjures images of hobbits, vast landscapes, powerful rings, and epic battles. Yet, behind the pages of his legendary tales was a man with quirks, passions, and surprises that many of his fans are unaware of. Delve into the lesser-known corners of Tolkien's life as we explore some truly unexpected facets of the genius who reshaped modern fantasy. From his strange fears to secret clubs and even his take on renowned playwrights, get ready to meet Tolkien, the man behind the myth. Fact number 1. Parental loss at a tender age. John Ronald Reuel Tolkien faced heartbreaking personal challenges early in life. Born on January 3, 1892, in Bloemfontein, South Africa, Tolkien lost his father, Arthur Tolkien, to rheumatic fever when he was just 3 years old in 1895. This tragedy forced his mother, Mabel, to move him and his younger brother, Hilary, back to her native England. Settling in Sarehole, near Birmingham, Mabel Tolkien became the primary influence in young Ronald's life. Sadly, his world was shattered once again when his mother died of acute diabetes in 1904. Left orphaned, the responsibility of Tolkien and his brother's care was taken up by Father Francis Xavier Morgan of the Birmingham Oratory, a Catholic priest who had been appointed their guardian. Number 2. A linguistic prodigy. J.R.R. Tolkien wasn't just a gifted storyteller, he was also a linguistic prodigy. As a teenager, his passion for languages was profound. While many might study existing languages, Tolkien went a step further, crafting his own with unique grammar, vocabulary, and phonetics. This hobby began with Nevbosh, a constructed language he co-created with friends. Later, his deep study of philology at Oxford led him to develop sophisticated languages, the most famous being the Elvish languages, Quenya and Sindarin. These languages weren't just a backdrop in The Lord of the Rings and The Silmarillion, they were the initial inspiration for these stories, showcasing his deep-rooted love for linguistics. Number 3. An epic real-life romance. Tolkien's own love story with Edith Mary Bratt mirrors the kind of epic tales he would later write. The pair met when Tolkien was just 16 and Edith 19. Due to the age difference and his guardian's disapproval, they were forced to separate for several years, with Tolkien forbidden from communicating with Edith until he turned 21. On the evening of his 21st birthday, he wrote to Edith, rekindling their relationship. They married in 1916. Their bond was so profound that Tolkien drew parallels between their love and the fictional romance of Beren and Luthien, two characters from his legendarium. In a poignant tribute, when Edith died in 1971, Tolkien had the name Luthien engraved on her tombstone. When he passed away 2 years later, Beren was added to his. Their shared gravestone in Wolvercote Cemetery, Oxford, is a testament to an enduring love that transcended life and art. Number 4. Service in the trenches of the Great War. John Ronald Reuel Tolkien's involvement in World War I was both formative and harrowing. Commissioned as a second lieutenant in the Lancashire Fusiliers, he began his service in 1915. By 1916, he was dispatched to the trenches of the Somme, a battleground that witnessed one of the bloodiest conflicts in history with over 1 million casualties. Tolkien's role as a signals officer meant he was responsible for maintaining communication lines, often exposing him to grave danger. Many of his close friends from school, including members of the semi-secretive society called the Tea Club and Barovian Society, were killed. This profound loss and the grim realities of war deeply influenced his later writings, with Mordor's bleak landscapes in The Lord of the Rings often compared to the war-ravaged terrains of the Somme. Number 5. Overlooked by the Nobel Committee. 1961 was an intriguing year for J.R.R. Tolkien and the literary world. Tolkien's magnum opus, The Lord of the Rings, which was published in the mid-1950s, had gained significant traction among readers. However, when it came to the most prestigious award in literature, the Nobel Prize, the Swedish jury was unimpressed. According to the Nobel Prize archives, the jury believed Tolkien's epic lacked literary value, a decision that in hindsight is perplexing to many given the immense impact of Tolkien's work on the fantasy genre. Today, with the trilogy having sold over 150 million copies and adapted into Oscar-winning films, the jury's decision seems even more bewildering. Number 6. The Cartographer of Middle-earth. Every element of Middle-earth, the fictional universe of Tolkien's creation, was crafted with precision and attention to detail, and that includes its geography. Tolkien wasn't just the author of his stories, he was also the chief cartographer of Middle-earth. His maps of regions like the Shire, Rohan, Gondor, and Mordor were drawn with meticulous care to ensure the events in his tales aligned perfectly with the geographical settings. These maps, which can be found in many editions of The Lord of the Rings and The Silmarillion, not only helped readers visualize the journeys of the characters but also underscored Tolkien's commitment to creating a cohesive and believable world. Number 7. Tolkien's College Confidants, the TCBS. While studying at King Edward's School in Birmingham, Tolkien co-founded a secretive club known as the TCBS, an abbreviation for the Tea Club and Barovian Society. The club was named after their favorite tea drinking spots, Barrow's stores, and their school library. These friends shared a deep bond, influencing each other's creative and intellectual pursuits. Their support and shared camaraderie were pillars of strength for Tolkien, especially during the trying times of World War I. Number 8. Unwavering Catholic Faith. John Ronald Reuel Tolkien's spiritual beliefs weren't just a private facet of his life, they were intrinsically woven into his writings. Raised a Catholic after the conversion of his mother, he held onto his faith even through personal tragedies. His beliefs often found reflection in his works, even if not overtly. While The Lord of the Rings might not be a religious tale in the traditional sense, its themes of hope, redemption, sacrifice, and resurrection bear strong Christian undertones. Tolkien himself, in a letter to a friend, described the book as a fundamentally religious and Catholic work. It's worth noting that while the narrative doesn't push religious allegory in the manner of his friend C.S. Lewis's Narnia series, Tolkien's deep faith subtly permeates its pages. Number 9. Arachnid Encounter in Africa. The picturesque landscapes of England might be synonymous with Tolkien's tales, but a significant incident from his early childhood took place in South Africa. It's said that a young Ronald Tolkien had an encounter with a large baboon spider, a tarantula-like species native to the region. While he mentioned in letters that he didn't recall the incident having a traumatic impact, the dark and eerie depictions of spiders in his stories, particularly Shelob in The Lord of the Rings and the spiders of Mirkwood in The Hobbit, suggest a deep-seated impression. Number 10. A literary icon's unexpected disdain. J.R.R. Tolkien's contributions to literature are undeniable. However, in a surprising twist, he wasn't particularly fond of another literary giant, William Shakespeare. Tolkien often expressed his discontent with how Shakespeare approached and depicted supernatural and fantasy elements. His critique was particularly sharp for A Midsummer Night's Dream, where he felt the fantasy elements lacked depth and authenticity. Number 11. Literary Brotherhood with C.S. Lewis. The friendship between J.R.R. Tolkien and C.S. Lewis is legendary in literary circles. Both were scholars at Oxford and foundational members of the Inklings, an informal literary discussion group that met at the Eagle and Child Pub in Oxford. Their bond was rooted in mutual respect and a shared love for myth and story. While Tolkien was a devout Catholic, Lewis was an atheist for a significant part of his life. Their intense discussions about faith, particularly during nighttime walks around the Magdalen College grounds, played a pivotal role in Lewis's conversion to Christianity in 1931. They frequently critiqued each other's writings. For instance, Tolkien was instrumental in the development of Lewis's The Chronicles of Narnia.